that man landing in here in the middle of the night, asking for money, and I'm out of my mind. Go along with a hothead like him. Nothing said. Nothing said. Now what?
Oh, I'm glad you're still up. Now we can pick up where we left off.
No, we can't.
What?
We will get out.
Come on, Alexander. Just listen. One more minute.
No.
Alexander, come on now, open up. I'm not going to leave here until you say yes. Alexandra!
It feels so good to have you hold me. Never to completely wore me out.
So you were with Meredith all this time?
Mm-hmm.
That's a neat trick. Seeing as she was with me all night. Want to try to explain that?
My carelessness. You know, I think you're about as much to blame for our predicament as I am, if not more so.
Oh, really? How do you figure that?
Because I was out of town. I couldn't control Josh, and you were here with Reva the entire time, and you still couldn't keep her from running off with my husband.
Oh, please, please, drop the wronged wife routine. Okay, I know better.
Oh, do you?
Yes. Josh is not off at Cross Creek to tryst with Reva. No, he went to get you out of his system.
All right. All right, maybe that ridiculous photograph that Reva took of Will and myself made him a little upset, but I don't think...
Please, save your breath. Because I know that you and Jeffries were lovers. So let's not waste time sparring over that. The stakes are much too high now.
This portion of Guiding Light is presented by Dawn. It takes grease out of your way, even on plastic.
Now, just what makes you so sure that Will and I had an affair?
Well, you see, last winter when Reva was in the hospital, I watched you and Jeffries together outside the room.
Oh, I knew we should have gone to a motel. How silly.
You know, it struck me as odd at the time, but I was so preoccupied with Reva, I didn't really give it much thought.
Alan, if you think that photograph that Reva took makes anything obvious, you are dead wrong. Will and I were together. Yes, we were working together, and Reva lied about what she saw because of her petty, jealous hatred for me.
Really? Granted that Reva may have lied to Josh, but not to me. You see, the last thing, she knows it, the last thing I want to hear is that Josh would be justified in leaving you for her.
So you think that Josh believes I betrayed him, and that is why he and Reva took off to Cross Creek to make up for lost time.
But you keep missing the point. This is not about sex.
How can you be so sure?
Because I know Reva, and I know that she would not allow that to happen.
Oh, Reva say no to sex with Josh?
Right.
She'd sooner say no to 20 mil.
No. My relationship with her is too strong for that now.
I see. Too honest? Too above board?
Yes.
Alan, how do you think you got your deal with Lewis Oil?
Because Josh knew it was good business.
Why don't you try Reva went to him on her knees?
Don't speculate about things you can't understand.
Alan, I was there. I saw it. And Josh gave in. Now, I dare say it's Reva's turn to give in.
Well, no sense in tempting fate. I will go to Cross Creek and bring Reva back. It's up to you to cover your tracks with Will so that Josh stays away from Reva.
If you don't believe that Will and I weren't lovers, how the hell can I convince Josh?
Because Josh is still not sure.
How can you say that?
Because Josh loves you. See? And he knows that Reva has it in for you. Now, he'll look for any way to keep his pride intact.
You really think so?
Yeah. What man wants to believe that his wife has an affair with his best friend?
What about the photograph?
Well, you can just stonewall him the way you stonewalled me. Just tell him that it's not what it seems to be, and just keep on lying the way you've been lying all along.
I don't know. I don't know.
You can do it. You can do anything. Sonny, you came back from the grave. I mean, after such an exploit, just juggling a few facts should be pretty easy for
Well,
you.
I can't do it with Reva nipping at my heels.
Fine. I will make sure that Reva stays away from Josh and the business deal.
You know what I don't understand? Is if you thought the situation was solvable, why are you so concerned? What was all this terrible carelessness you accused me of when I walked in here?
I'm referring to Will Jeffries and the fact that you botched your attempt at killing him.
Hello, Blake. This is John. We agreed to talk last week, and I'm getting tired of waiting. This business with Philip is getting crazier by the minute. I'll be in touch.
Well, I am convinced that your wedding will rank among the best, large or small.
Really?
And it has quite a few beauties to compete with Nola and Quentin.
And Mindy. And Mindy's. She has two.
What's her name? Edward. Which wedding did you think was the best? Now remember, whatever you say can and will be held against you.
Ours was the smallest and the best.
Oh, yes, and why?
Because it led to the happiest time of my life.
Oh, you say it like
Excuse me.
Our little soccer player agrees with you, Dad.
Hey, guys. It's almost tomorrow. It is already tomorrow. Yeah. Happy wedding day.
Happy wedding day. Let's get some sleep.
Yes, I think it's a good idea.
I'll see you guys in the morning.
All right. Good night.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Mom.
All right, all right. Take care. All right.
Johnny, see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh.
Well,
Huh?
long at last.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do we do next?
Ah.
Hey. Well, we thought you went upstairs to crash.
No, I just came out for some fresh air.
Yeah, me too. You know, I think taking in fresh air is a highly underrated pastime. Especially on a night like tonight. Right after the rain. Something I used to take for granted, but no more.
I know what you mean. Who needs drugs to get high when you got this? And it's free. I'm starting to really appreciate the simple little pleasures. You know, I had to slow down enough to really see them.
I'm so join you.
No, go right ahead.
Thanks.
I heard you talking with Philip about Blake earlier.
Yeah, who didn't?
You've got a thing for her, don't you?
I like her. I don't understand her, but I like her.
Well, maybe that's the attraction.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's just me.
What do you mean?
Maybe I'm just making things out to be more confusing than they really are.
Why do you say that?
Well, you know, I've been out of the dating game for a while now, and maybe I just got my signals mixed up.
I wouldn't really know. I'm not very good at relationships either.
You're an awfully good listener. Which is more than I can say for Chelsea. I mean, she goes crazy every time the name of Blake Lindsay comes up. I don't know why. I mean, she usually doesn't get that fired up unless she's singing. Why are you staring at me like that?
Boy, sometimes it is hard to believe how stupid you men really are.
Yeah, I didn't think you'd be able to explain that.
I think you're in over your head.
What?
Your lies are getting a little out of control. You can't even keep them straight anymore. I don't know what I'm angry about. I ought to be happy. At least I found out now before I got in any deeper with you.
Philip, listen to me.
What, you want to tell me some more lies? It's okay. I think I've heard enough. Actually, you know, it's kind of unfortunate that you didn't stay long enough to see Meredith come in here. Then we really would have gotten a good story, wouldn't we? Maybe you would have been with Johnny tonight.
Philip, I wasn't with John.
No, I know you weren't with Johnny. I was with Johnny.
Although he was involved in all this, but not the way you think.
He was involved in all what?
Oh, am I glad that you found out. Keeping it from you has been such a nightmare.
Oh, this sounds like it could be good. Maybe I should sit down. Go ahead. Give it your best shot.
There was another man.
There was another man.
Yeah, I met him before I came to Springfield. In Chicago. His name is Steve. He followed me here. You know, at first it was okay. Then I realized that it was becoming one-sided. He wanted a commitment and... well, I couldn't give him one. So I broke it off. But he wouldn't take no for an answer. He kept calling and insisting that I reconsider. Some of the calls were the ones that came here. And John covered for me.
But Johnny was in on this?
Yeah, but, you know, just on the edges, like I said.
Wait a minute. If this is what was happening to you, why would you trust Johnny to help you and not me?
You know, Philip, it wasn't a question of trust. I had less to lose with John. I was afraid that if I told you the truth, I'd lose you.
This guy, Steve. This guy is the reason that you put all this distance between us when you first came here? That's why you kept putting me off?
No, you see, that was the hardest part. That's why I kept Steve around as long as I did. I'm sorry to admit that I used him to try and stop myself from giving in to you.
Wait a minute, I'm totally confused now. Why would that have been so bad?
Falling in love with you was the last thing in the world I wanted. It's ruined everything.
Sir, I mean it this time. Leave the premises immediately or suffer my wrath.
Lord.
Aye!
Joseph!
Aye-ya!
Joseph!
Ah!
That is kid you're not. Go to bed before you hurt yourself. I'll deal with Mr. Reed.
As you wish, madam.
You, in here. You know, I had planned something as rash as a night's sleep, but you showed up.
Yeah, well, it's your fault for dragging this money thing out. But you played to win. That's okay. I respect that.
Enough to leave?
Enough to up the offer.
Oh, wake up, Alex.
Look, I'm going to make you a full partner. You happy now?
Delirious.
Come on, think of the advantages.
Such as...
Well, look, Philip may own the mirror. That's true. But it is a rag. We both know that. But ha-ha, the journal. That's a class act just like you are. It's well respected. It's profitable. And with you associated with it, you will have a power base of your very own. You won't have any say about editorial policy, but I guarantee that you will have a very real voice.
I have a very real voice, and I am using it to tell you once again that I am not interested. Please turn off the light when you leave.
I can't leave, yes.
Look, if you're counting on breakfast, I don't think Vera's going to be in the mood.
Now, listen, you have to understand what this paper means to me.
Don't wake me when you're finished, okay?
It's more than the fact that it's something that Maeve and I built up together. The journal gives structure to my life. It's something that my life has never had before. It's like an anchor, a compass point. You're lucky. You have roots that go deep. I don't. Maeve and I were just in the middle of starting to grow something when... Well, anyway. The point is, Maeve is the only person who was finally able to get me to commit to people and to myself and to a future. And I'm afraid that if I lose the journal, Maeve, and what her life ended up meaning will be lost too. And I don't want that. I don't want my life to go back to being what it was before Maeve. I don't want to have a life where I'm alone and without a purpose. I want to build on what Maeve and I started together, and that includes raising Ben. Yeah, right, sure, I could go ahead and sell my half interest in the newspaper, and I could use that money to fight Julia for custody for Ben. But so what if I'd win? We'd both lose anyway in the end. Ben, he'd lose his heritage, and I would lose everything that gives my life purpose. So what I'm saying is that I love Ben more than anything else on earth. And I know I can raise him better than anyone. But to do that, I need a foundation on which to build. And that is the journal. And that is why I need you. Alexandra, won't you help me? Please.
I'm sorry, Fletcher. The answer is still no.
I didn't try to kill Will. I don't know where you got such a ludicrous idea.
Well, Rusty and Reva believe it to be a distinct possibility.
Reva, of course. One last self-serving lie before running off to Cross Creek with my husband. That woman will say anything. Make me look bad, anything.
Yes, I suppose you're right.
All right. Let's talk about Will. Why do you think it's such a disaster that you survived the accident?
Because he knows that Josh is Mara's father.
Not anymore. The amnesia took care of that.
Hardly. I mean, when Will was in full control of his faculties, he had good reason to keep quiet about the paternity test. But now, in his altered state, you know, he's become a loose cannon. He could blurt out the truth at any time, and that would be the end of you and me.
We'd survive, Alan.
Yes. But at what price? When Reva and Josh find out that they have a child together, there'll be no keeping them apart. Especially when they realize that we knew the truth all this time and kept it from them.
Total betrayal. Yeah, well, Josh would never forget that.
Nor would Reva.
I have to confess that I've been worried about the truth coming out all along. And this business with Will has made me just a bit nervous.
Yes, I assumed as much. Which made your absence, your 2-week absence, all the more puzzling. I mean, you picked a fine time to leave town.
It was unavoidable, Alan. It was simply unavoidable. But I'm back now, and I can keep closer tabs on him, all right?
You're going to do better than that.
Excuse me?
You're a psychiatrist, remember?
Right, so?
So, isn't there some drug that you can give Will to keep him in a haze?
Alan? Drugs could be just a little risky.
Oh, yes. Oh, dear me.
Oh, Alan.
Why don't you use your training to play mind games with him? Condition him so that he blocks out all memory of Mara's paternity.
All right, I suppose there are a few methods I could use. Nothing is foolproof, though. You have to understand that. He could remember anything at any time, no matter what I do.
Fine. Then we'll have to explore other ways to keep the truth from coming out. So let's get to work.
On what?
On a plan to sacrifice Will Jeffries and save our necks.
Be tempted by guiding light.
When her secret is exposed,
A marriage based on a lie cannot survive.
Oh, don't be silly, darling. I've scabbed of them.
You tell Rick the truth, and you call off this wedding.
This is my only chance for real happiness.
Meredith's costly mistake
What's wrong? Oh, I know.
could destroy her future. Weekdays,